Invading the internet, covering Web 2.0, coast to coast, worldwide, and everywhere in between. This is where you put the social in social media. We are Social Blade.
Happy 7 days before Thanksgiving, everybody. Welcome to the Social Blade Show. I am J.D. Rucker, and I am doing fine.
And I'm Patrick Parise. How are y'all doing?
I'm Aaron Ryan.
And I'm Victor Barrett, and I'm doing much better.
That's good to hear. And I, lastly, am Jason Urgo.
And I've got to ask, Patrick, how was your week?
Well, I did have a good week this week. I had the honor and the pleasure of being on the show Social Blend with Greg Davies and Silent J, Joe Fowler, on Monday night, and it was really fun. And in fact, something that I picked up from their show, I'm gonna be talking about here in a little bit.
For future reference, Patrick, whenever I say how was your week, you're supposed to say fine. Don't. It's
already.
It's a politeness thing. I don't actually want to know. I just want you to say it was fine. How was yours? And I say it's fine. And then we start the show. We don't really want data. I'm just teasing.
Nobody really cares.
I love you, man.
All right, I'll pretend I'm talking to one of my ex-wives. Yeah, it was fine. Thanks.
This week, let me tell you guys something. This week, as far as from a social media perspective, was one that was, absolutely, positively jam-packed. It was so jam-packed that I don't even know where to start. We were considering even not having a show because there was just too much to cover, but we're going to go ahead and roll with it. Mashable reports that social media can change the world. For those who don't know, social media is a form of communication that we use on the internet that allows us to find common ground, and that's the basic premise behind J.R. Johnson's article. The idea there, he's the CEO of Lunch.com. The concept that he discusses and where I want to expound from this is that basically finding common ground on the internet is what brings us together. That's what made Amazon work so well. That's what made the idea of people buying stuff. That's what's made Facebook and sites like Ning and all the social networking sites. They work well because you're able to find people that are either in your area, in your profession, same age, same something, or completely diverse. What hasn't happened nearly as much is the charitable, the changing the world aspect of things. Sure, it's hip to go out there and tweet hashtag Iran elections or to say good things, but as far as action, as far as actually truly making a difference and using the power of social media to enhance the world and make it a better place, I know that sounds corny and altruistic and all that good stuff, but here's the thing. It's sad that we don't do it. Why? Because for every 1,000 people using social media for their own gains or their own fun, there's other people. We've had some great guests, haven't we, Aaron, who are using social media for good.
We had three of them, I think. Josh Charles, the Chartjackers people weren't actually on, but we talked about them last week, and then also the Mario guys back on one of our first shows.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh yeah, the Mario guys. How can you forget the Mario guys?
Yeah.
Jason has this memorized.
But the thing is that's these are a handful of people, and we're able to take them out, pick them out of the crowd because they stand out. But they're not standing out enough, and there's not enough people supporting them. I'm not going to get on a soapbox. I'm going to post an article about it on socialblade.com/show about how I feel. I've been a strong proponent of utilizing social media for the betterment of the world, and we're going to actually practice what we preach and find a charity that we're going to go on. You're hearing that announcement now, even before my illustrious co-hosts have heard this. We're going to have a Social Blade charity. I'm springing it on them now so that you guys can hear it publicly so they can't say no, or else they look like jerks.
Nice.
No, Rucker, we can't promote charity. Damn you.
Social media is for evil.
Speaking of evil.
Not too close to the holidays.
I know. Speaking of evil, Jay Adelson, the CEO of Digg, said something that that was not evil, and said something that, in essence, was very shocking to me. What did he say, Jason?
He talked about a couple of different things on a recent interview that he did on Fox Business, but one of the things that he that's been topical lately. We talked about it last week with Rupert Murdoch trying to charge people to go to his newspapers. What Digg was, or Jay was saying from Digg was that he thinks that they should be the ones that pay for it instead, which is sort of a novel concept here. I have a quote from him. He said, "I don't expect the consumer to pay for news. I agree that someone has to pay for it, completely agree, but I think it's the aggregators, frankly like Digg, that should have to include a piece of that." So he's suggesting, that Digg and, I don't know, Twitter maybe, or any other sites that, people go to get news on, have to pay these other sites for running their content or linking to it on there. The other thing that he was actually talking about that at least I haven't seen this publicly talked about, and it was just sort of hinted at on the interview, was that it looks like they might be trying to license the technology that they're using to do the textual stories, the ads, the Digg ads that look like stories on the Digg page. It looks like that he might be trying to get newspapers to use that as well. He said that basically, if I help monetize, since I know Digg, that is, the users so well, maybe I can help target ads and make advertising models work. So that's kind of interesting also, I think, that perhaps, sometime in the future we'll see those on, contextual ads on other sites powered by Digg. So they're sort of taking a new turn there. What do you guys think?
I think it's really great getting his insight. He was trying to monetize a news aggregator whose traffic really wasn't all that valuable,
Yeah.
And so to me, it makes sense to get his perspective also from the point of, he's talking about these new innovative Digg ads, which get 100 times the click-through, which don't look like ads, they look like just like another Digg story, I think integrating some sort of sponsored ad/content into your news stream, if you're a publication, is a worthy idea in terms of, examining it and looking for potential ways to build revenue outside of the traditional ad boxes and partnerships that people usually have from a media perspective. So I think it's a step in the right direction for, publishers to be thinking about down the line, how they can better monetize off their content, because that's essentially what it's come down to for people like Rupert Murdoch, who believe content's not free, that he wants you to pay for news, when in fact, like Jay said, people aren't just going to pay for news. It's something that they've been so accustomed to getting it for free for so long, But so forcing the publisher to get more innovative, I think all in all is a very good thing.
Now, do you think that newspapers will go for what is sort of, again, hinted here? You didn't go right out and say it, but do you think that maybe a year from now or even 6 months, when you go to the Wall Street Journal, you'll be able to go in for free, but you'll see actual stories from other sites running on there powered by Digg? Do you think people will go for that?
I think it's interesting that you mentioned the Wall Street Journal. Obviously, as it's Rupert Murdoch's flagship financial property, but I think that for like a larger news group, let's say like the AP or like a Tribune or a Times or something, can integrate kind of in some way, shape, or form a sponsored ad that would appear on their front page or appear kind of in the mix of their daily content streams. But they would, they'd clearly be marked sponsored, although they would look more like just a general piece of news, so you'd be more inclined to click on them. And I've seen this done by other kind of news aggregators as well, like TechMeme is doing pretty well with their sponsored posts, which are somewhat related to what's really going on in the kind of the cycle of news, but is altogether, paid for, that people can get to, that essentially makes them money. So I don't know. I'm not really sure if it'll work just yet for a traditional news company, but right now for tech-oriented news aggregators, it seems to be working fine.
Yeah, absolutely for the aggregators. I see it being a really big thing for them. But yeah, the question is, will it work for the big sites themselves also?
I don't know. I mean, it'd be a long shot, I think, to get normal news publications who value kind of journalism and best practice over inserting sponsored content pieces into their traditional news streams. Like, I think it'd be a little far-fetched to say, like, the LA Times just start doing that in order to create another way to generate revenue.
The question is, can Splurb generate revenue?
Well, like like I was saying, there was some when I went on the Social Blend the other day. They introduced me to the site www.splurb.com, splurb.com.
Splurb.
And I tell you, yeah, well, Splurb. You pronounce it however you want. But what it basically is, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
We're just interrupting you.
Well, yeah, I know. I can see that. You're going to make me cuss, and you're going to make Jason piss, and you're going to piss me off, too.
Oh, no.
Now, what Splurb is if you're looking for a good story, and let's just say that you're either a mixed user, Reddit, Digg, Tweet Me, or whatever it's called, I don't know, Propeller, any social media site, you can go on to splurb.com, and you can, and I'm refreshing the page now, and I have sources required 3. And what's popping up is 6 inventors who got jacked for changing the modern world. I had to edit myself on that because there's a cuss word in there. Alcohols protect men's heart. And it'll tell you, made popular on Reddit, Digg, and Propeller. And it'll tell you which one it is. And if you see something like, say you're a Digg user, and you see a story that you like that went popular on Reddit, Yahoo, and Tweet Me, like Jon Stewart explains, conservative pundits, why he doesn't like Sarah Palin, and it's a video. You can submit that. Surely you can submit that to Digg if it's not already submitted. It hasn't made the front page yet. And it's also the way to follow your story if you see it's getting popular. I know actually people that get their rocks off by seeing, you know, a story that they submitted on 12 different sites, whether it's their own or not, get up there in 2 or 3.
That's cool.
So basically what Splurb is a cross-reference list to the social web's most popular links, as by their self-acknowledgement. To get listed, a link must be popular on at least 2 social websites. The results are trimmed down to the best links on the web. Links are sorted by popularity over time and sized by a number of sources. I'm sorry, my chat stream isn't working right now, or I'd be happy to drop that in there for you guys and let you know. Now, what I wanted to lead that into was online failures, and Urgo touched on it with the story with Jay Adelson from Digg. Times plans to charge for one-day access to online news. All right, now what I need the people in the room to do is pay attention, and I'm actually going to ask one of y'all to pay attention to the chat room because I lost it right now. Let me try one thing real quick if you don't mind. All right, let's try it. As newspapers continue to struggle finding an economically viable and sustainable business model for production and distribution of news on the web, James Harding, editor of News Corp-owned The Times, seemed to think he has found a way. He believed charging a full day's access to online news, you can and will continue to be able to essentially go get something for free, is a good idea, pledging to rewrite the economics of the newspapers. Bottom line, the plan is to charge for 24-hour access to the website. You have to buy the newspaper. They want you to basically subscribe. If you subscribe for a month, you get it for a month. And, you know, will that work? I don't know. I'm not sure. What I wanted to ask the group, the people in there, just type in the room, what online media would you be willing to subscribe to? Would it be porn? Would it be super whitelisted sites on Digg.com that since they were charging now, you would then be able to have a leg up on some other Digg users that aren't paying for it? Maybe there's some other media worth purchasing that would be worthy for you if you ran a site. But basically, I don't know, would it be news? Would anyone pay for news? I don't think they would. From time to time, people still buy a newspaper. I know I do. After all, you can't take your PC into the bathroom when you go to pinch a loaf. But the bottom line is that for the most part, printed news is old and outdated, even if it's the first one printed off the press. I mean, does anyone got anything to say about that?
Definitely.
No, I agree. I mean, I grew up in the digital age here, so I rarely look at printed newspapers, though I do look at the one that comes from my local area here. I will say that. But yeah, no, if you want real news, you get it updated a lot quicker online. But it's a little bit of a generational thing, I would think, too.
It is.
A little bit. It is.
I do have an opinion about that, Pat. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I do have an opinion about that. Unfortunately, you'd have to pay me 50 cents for me to tell you what that opinion is, because these guys have the right idea. I can tell you that much. All right. So I'm officially going offline, and you guys have fun. If you want me back on the show, that'll be 50 cents a minute.
Tom from the chat room is offering to send you the 50 cents. What's your PayPal link?
Oh, excellent. Oh, hold on. We're making espresso. I'm going to mute myself.
No, it's interesting. Looking at the whole, would you pay 25 cents a day, let's say, to visit your favorite newspaper online?
I don't think I would.
It's an interesting concept. I mean, I still remember when newspapers were a little more prominent. I'm not that old, but I think it's interesting to think about online content in that same way. But for me, I just don't think it'll work, because people don't just have one singular source for their news online. People go through multiple sources, and a lot of the time, it's a ridiculous amount of sources, And so think about it. If you had to pay, 10 sources a day, 25 cents, I mean, that adds up. If you're looking at some sort of subscription-based system. So for me, it just depends. I mean, if you read like 1 or 2 a day, sure. But if you're reading across 30-plus different sources a day, would you really want to pay a subscription just to visit each one each day? I don't think so.
Well, I think that the...
That actually now makes me think of something here. What if Digg, again, since they're saying that they're the ones that should be paying the different sites, would you pay for a subscription to Digg if it got you access to all these other sites?
That's an interesting question. I think that question speaks more to the role of news aggregators as a whole. Like Digg, for instance, right now. I mean, if there was, let's say, 10 different publications that would be getting paid by Digg to feature their content on Digg, where would that money come from? Would it be us? Would we pay Digg some sort of subscription, like $5 a month or something? I don't know. I don't know if the aggregator is a player in the whole news cycle is really that important. I mean, I know they churn a lot of traffic and they get a lot of visibility, but when push comes to shove, they're not creating the content. They're not the ones covering the different happenings in the world and tech and whatever. And when it comes down to it, is the people who are hiring those people are the people that really want the money. So they want to push some sort of direct pay system.
I don't.
Go ahead, Aaron.
I don't think that anybody would really want to pay for news. I mean, if that happened, it would change social media in a really, I don't think in a positive way. Like you guys were mentioning about Digg. I mean, we create the news, and so then we have to pay for it. That would be crazy. I mean, the news people wouldn't have anything if we didn't have problems and things going on in the world that are created by the people. So I think that Jay is onto something there with, maybe the news aggregators basically pay, and then, we have access to the site, but I don't think we should have to pay for them at all.
Well, I mean, anyone that charges you, you can just go hundreds of thousands of other places and get it there. And now, the newspaper that I would get and do get quite often is probably the same type that Urgo is talking about, when a local newspaper to find out, about that car accident, why you had to sit in traffic, or how the local high school team did in sports. And in yours and Urgo's case, Aaron, it would be like the chess club or debate club or whatever non-athletic function that they do. No offense, but no, it's what we're looking at there. I mean, I can see that. But as far as Washington Post, I get all the information emailed to me from, as not as a subscriber to the newspaper for free. I subscribe to their email, and I get a breaking headline, and I get a gist of the story, and I can go on if I'm a subscriber and read the entire story. But what I choose to do is go find a different avenue on Digg and look for it and find it there. It's not really much of a challenge.
It's important to understand that this isn't an evil thing, okay? This isn't, and I'm not suggesting I'm a proponent of it. What I'm saying is that, most people haven't figured out, okay? One method that they may end up doing, which is a little bit what the the Wall Street Journal is doing, is to tease. You give teasers, you give the bits of the information, but you can't go in depth. You basically tell them that you have something, and then they have to pay to get in there. So, and I personally have a plan that I think would work. I think that if news aggregators did this, they would be able to make money without necessarily charging the people. And they could actually probably make a lot more money than they could if they charged the people. And to read more, to find out, please send JD Rucker money, and I'll let you know.
Well, JD, I was going to ask you, I mean, would shows like us exist if we had to pay for the news content that we're talking about right now?
Oh, yeah, we would just charge. We charge a lot more than we're charging now. Right now we are only able to even have a show thanks to the wonderful kindness of Dave Altavilla over at hothardware.com, who is our sponsor now and always has been. He runs a tremendous site, and guess what? It's free. You get to go there and read reviews, find out information about computers, anything that's hot in the hardware arena, from computers to equipment, graphic cards, motherboards, storage, anything that you want. Hot Hardware has information about it, and it's usually breaking news. It's the kind of stuff that many people would pay for. Luckily, they don't have to right now, and that is hothardware.com. We're going to do a little different section here, a little different segment that is it's in development. But I think that this should turn out to be, in the long run, a very good thing. It's called the Social Blitz.
Which is when we all just stand very still and wait for JD to move. And here we go.
Don't move.
Social Blitz with JD Rucker and Aaron Ryan. Go!
TechCrunch reports that MySpace acquired iMeme. For those who don't know what iMeme is, you're not alone.
Also from TechCrunch, Facebook cufflinks ask you to F me. The Facebook Me cufflinks are $50 and feature, yes, the Facebook logo on them. One cufflink features the Facebook F, the other reads Me. Classy.
Mashable brings the first and hopefully last bit of social media related Twilight news. New Moon webcast breaks a record with 300 million viewers. MySpace just released their data, and as it turns out, the stream garnered over 2 million uniques and almost 3 million total viewers. With that said, we promise to never speak about Twilight on Social Blade ever again.
Mashable reports in a study that most Fortune 500 companies don't get Twitter. In related news, anyone looking for rich old people can find them on AOL.
According to allfacebook.com, girls are sneaking away and getting their fix from a different source. The good news is that it isn't drugs that are pulling their attention. Facebook seems to be the big pull for female teens. Anything that keeps them off of drugs, or MySpace, is a true service to society.
Mashable reveals that President Barack Obama doesn't tweet. In fact, he's never tweeted, despite having 2.6 million people following his verified account. Social Blade has uncovered that John McCain is the only member of the Republican Party that actually does use Twitter. Unfortunately, he's never been able to make a point in 140 characters.
Canada wins. Facebook implements a new privacy policy. At the end of October, Facebook announced that it was revamping its privacy policy. The change, sparked by the intervention of the Canadian government, simplified the new policy, stripped the legal jargon, and put the document up for a comment period by the Facebook community. A Facebook spokesman apologized for the oversight, stating that they now acknowledge that Canada is a real-life country.
Social Blitz with JD Rucker and Aaron Ryan. Gone!
Dude, you guys are awesome, man. I love the Blitz. Can't wait for the next one.
Yeah, I hope you guys would like that. A new little thing we're trying out here. Also, I just wanted to use this opportunity to let you guys know that we actually have a brand new YouTube channel now that we're going to be posting these little short clips on and other things as well. Hopefully all the shows will be on there soon. And, as Aaron just mentioned in the chat here, we're actually doing a giveaway to try to get some people to subscribe to us here. So if you go to youtube.com/socialblade, make sure you subscribe. And we're actually going to be posting the video that you just saw up on YouTube as well, on the channel there. And the contest is going to be basically leave a comment on that. And the person that has the best comment that we vote on by Monday is going to win either a $100 AdWords gift certificate or a $25 Amazon gift certificate, depending on which one you prefer. So, yeah, youtube.com/socialblade. Make sure you subscribe.
Sorry, I muted myself.
Awesome.
That's what I wanted to say. I was going to.
Is that a can of Miller Lite there, Urgo?
A can of Miller Lite. What?
On your shirt.
Oh, no, it's a shirt here. I got it came with my Social Blade shirt. It's from Zazzle here. Yeah. But anyway, moving on. We got a couple other stories here we want to talk to you guys about. The next one is YouTube launches a channel for amateur journalists. Basically, this week, YouTube has launched their own version, or actually, their own version of something that will empower any news site to implement their own version of what CNN does with their iReport. Basically, it's called YouTube Direct, and it lets any news organization sort of sign up for it, and it lets normal people upload videos directly to the news site, which gets uploaded onto YouTube, so they can play them from there and save bandwidth and everything else. And then the news sites get to pick through the list of all the videos that were submitted to them through this on which ones to play and either run on their website or on TV or whatever they want to do with it. So it's just a new thing that empowers citizen journalists, and always encouraged.
That's a good way, another good way to get social
Absolutely.
for YouTube to do. Very smart.
Very good. We also have news, and we don't get to talk about this very often, but it is one of the original, I guess you could say, social created websites. A site that has been social at times and antisocial at times, and now is trying to get back into social. Victor, tell us what's happening over at Wikipedia.
Cool. So nothing's technically, I guess, brand new in terms of happening in Wikipedia, but basically there's a new documentary that's currently being produced, and it's called Truth in Numbers, Everything According to Wikipedia. And the reason why I think this documentary is worthy of looking into and noting on the show is because, I think that a lot of people kind of take Wikipedia for what it is, being this open source, basically open source encyclopedia of kind of open knowledge where people can contribute and collaborate and basically put it in website form, whether it's on a newspaper, whether it's on a celebrity, what have you. I mean, everybody, a lot more often than not, if you're looking something up and it's just basic factual knowledge, you're probably going to end up on a Wikipedia page. And it's obviously a great thing, a great resource to have. It's free, it's open. But if you look into the way Wikipedia works, kind of like many other online communities, it has a top-end kind of quasi-elitist group that really kind of dictates the pace of which the knowledge is being transcribed to Wikipedia. And I think it's interesting because, Wikipedia, for as hailed as it is as being this great social experiment, I think there's a lot of skeptics, there's a lot of people who vandalize pages, people who are doing malicious edits, and essentially you've got this kind of top-end community which is kind of protecting what they think is kind of, unquestionable knowledge that they think is truth, is fact, that is kind of sort of locked in its status where it can't be edited by just the average Wikipedia. And I think that there's been sort of this ivory tower that's been built over the past few years, where Wikipedia, at least at the top of the community, seems very unapproachable. You can't really contribute your 2 cents on just any page. It's got to be a page that's open, that's not really heavily moderated. And, there's a lot of controversy surrounding the fact that there's a lot of academic, kind of intellectual players, such as Howard Zinn and Noam Chomsky, who think that the way Wikipedia's knowledge is being written concerning things like human history, politics, and such is just not happening the way it should be, that it's not as open as the whole platform in itself kind of claims to be. And so this documentary is looking into the controversies and questions surrounding whether or not Wikipedia is really achieving their original goal, which was to create this open, available, and freely and free kind of free community where people can exchange knowledge and essentially come to some sort of semblance of truth. So yeah, it's really interesting. I don't know what you guys think of Wikipedia. I mean, I love it. It's great, but at the same time, I think that it has its flaws fundamentally in terms of the way that it's kind of turned out in real life.
If it's on Wikipedia, it's real and it's true and it's verified and guaranteed correct. That's at least what I would say 80 to 90% of people think, and we can, if we're going to blame anybody, I think it would be Google. Because Google has taken it, put it on this humongous pedestal as this is the best information out there. I mean, I don't care what you search for, you probably got about a 50-50 chance of Wikipedia being the top listing, or at least in the top 3 for just about any subject. We can run a contest and find out how many of these are actually true. I am a big fan of the concept of Wikipedia, and I like the
concept is beautiful. It's just I think that the deeper you kind of dig into the controversies that have kind of sprung up because of Wikipedia as a platform for knowledge, as a knowledge base, is just interesting. That it's kind of been criticized from the outside as being this kind of elitist community of ultra nerds that are just always fact checking and always kind of being dictators in the way that certain subjects, that just basically just can't be approached. That if you're not in this sort of elitist clique, you can't contribute something of value that maybe could be contributing towards the spreading or, kind of expanding of what knowledge is concerning one subject. And I think you're right. I think Google's willingness to just give all this authority to Wikipedia plays a large role in it as well. That it kind of solidifies its place as a core center for knowledge.
I wholeheartedly agree. What does anybody else think? If you don't know what you think, go to Wikipedia and it'll tell you what to think.
It'll tell you what to think.
I'm a big fan of it in general.
Hold on, before you continue. Wait, Jason, before you continue. What did you say earlier, Victor, as far as the perception is that Wikipedia is a bunch of ultra-controlling, nerdy...
Well, this isn't my perspective, but based on what I've learned of the documentary thus far, they've got they interview a wide array of people, not just tech elite, but they interview academic elite as well. And I forgot who exactly said it, but I think it was a professor from Emory University that mentioned that basically at the top of the Wikipedia community are cult-like ultra nerds, and basically it's like 4chan but better. It's instead of defaming and bullying people on the internet, they're propping themselves up to be kind of the guards of knowledge. That there are certain subjects on Wikipedia that you just can't contribute or edit without having the the go-ahead from this clique, from this community.
Got you. Cult-like ultra nerds. Now, Jason, you were saying you love Wikipedia? Go ahead, continue.
I'm good.
Thanks.
No, Wikipedia, I wholeheartedly agree with everything you said. I think that this is going to be an extremely excellent. Are we going to post a link to the documentary when it's coming out and all the data?
Oh yeah,
about it?
I mean, we'll get more info as it goes on. It's still in production. There's no technical release date, but it's they're getting some press locally, at least here in Los Angeles, because it is something that's kind of in the works that is happening pretty soon here. That they've done all the interviews, they've done pretty much everything they need to do. They're just kind of in the final phases of putting it together.
Got you. What did you say in your interview, Jason, when they interviewed you? Yeah. Hey, and you know what? I think that they would be, if you have any connections with them, I think they would be excellent guests because that sounds like an extremely interesting topic.
Oh yeah, I mean it's one that fascinates me because, I honestly think that on some levels that it's just a lot of academics who maybe just don't consider what's on Wikipedia to be correct in some ways or accurate. That maybe they feel a little jaded because when it comes down to it, that people will look to Wikipedia first as a source of accurate, explicit knowledge and not textbooks, not famed academic institutions. So
Gotcha.
I think it's really interesting.
If they really want knowledge, and we should have them as a guest. But speaking of guests, if they really want knowledge, they only have to look down at somebody's chest to gain the infinite amount of knowledge on a daily basis that is offered by Jason Sadler. Jason Sadler is he basically is iwearyourshirt.com, at least for now. And Aaron brought him on and would like to tell you more about Jason. There he is.
Thank you. Let's uncover him.
Is he wearing a Social
Let's
Blade
take
t-shirt?
that off like a t-shirt. No, what's your...
I've been here.
The whole time.
Wow, keep it in your pants, Aaron.
Well, Jason Sadler, who's better known as iwearyourshirt.com, but if you don't know who he is the person to go to if you want to buy a day for him to wear your shirt and utilize it on social media. Jason, welcome to Social Blade.
Hey, thanks for having me. I've been watching you guys, your 5 screens of like awesomeness here. Ooh, we got a shirt change. That's awesome.
Speaking of shirts, tell us how you created iwearyourshirt.com and what were you doing prior to having your own company?
Yeah, I created iwearyourshirt.com. I feel like I just said this. I was on Fox News earlier, not to brag, but just because it's astonishing for me that I'm on big media outlets now. But I created what I thought was a unique idea for companies to advertise, offer to them a service that not necessarily broken, but just a different service on the web instead of banner ads or other things that would be a unique value proposition for them. So I wear a company's t-shirt, you pay for the day, like today was $314 because it's the 314th day of the year, and I promote via social media that company. So I take Flickr photos, a YouTube video, I do a live Ustream show myself at 3 o'clock, and that's it. That's what I do. That's my job.
Okay. So is it just Jason, or do you have a team of people that help you?
This year, 2009, it was just me, putting on shirts by myself. I didn't need any help. I did it all by myself. And next year, my buddy Evan's going to help me, and I'll help him put on shirts, and then both of us will wear shirts together for the companies on their day. So very exciting stuff, and it doubled the pricing. So yeah, this year was January 1st was $1, $2, $3 as the year went on. Next year it doubles.
So how did Evan get involved?
I met Evan very early on. He was doing PR for Ustream, and I knew one of the investors for Ustream, and he said you should talk to, you should use Ustream on your social media stuff, and they just said, hey, you should talk to Evan. He does some really crazy projects, like the guy who traded a red paperclip for a house, and some other things. So we got to chatting, and one thing led to another, and now we're shirt-wearing buddies.
Great. So what makes you decide to utilize social media for business, and what advice would you give to companies that aren't using social media?
Yeah, so you mentioned earlier that something, I don't remember the number, but like a bunch of companies, big name companies, aren't using Twitter right now. And I think it's interesting. I think there's obviously 2 separate conversations here. One is why big companies aren't using Twitter, and the other is, how Twitter and other social media sites can benefit your company. I mean, these things are all tools. I mean, that's what you hear everybody say, but they literally are. I mean, it's like a fax machine. It's like a laptop computer. I mean, they're all things that you use to promote your brand, to research your company's brand. Even if you're not representing your brand online, you should at least be searching it through all those things. I mean, Twitter search is fastly becoming, one of the most used searches on the web. It's crazy that YouTube is still above it, but I think that's because people really love watching other people get hit in the nuts. But it's just really important for people to recognize that other people are talking about them at all times, and that they should know that. They should know that they should be a part of those things and be in control of their brand.
I definitely agree. So, in your opinion, how important do you think social media is right now?
Oh, it's huge. I mean, if you're not using social media, I mean, you're basically like standing outside the party, looking in the window, and trying to contemplate whether you want to go in or not. I mean, it's you don't have to be like the YouTube link sharing. Here's photos of my dog. Like, you don't have to do all that stuff if you don't want to. But that's the great thing about social media, is that you can do whatever you want. I mean, you can talk about your brand, or you can be just a person representing the company. And I honestly think the latter is the better part, and that's what I try and do, is just tell everybody, hey, this is who I am, this is what I do, and I hope people find it interesting.
Oh, I definitely see that with you. I mean, you friend people on Facebook and Twitter, and you definitely make yourself accessible to others, including your show at 3 o'clock every day. So how can people get in touch with you for you to wear their T-shirts?
Yeah, so 2009 completely sold out. You can't buy another day for me to wear your shirt. Obviously, 2010 is quickly approaching, but as I was on Fox News earlier today, 11 more days sold, and I think I'm at 272 days sold in 2010. So the next available day is in August, which is a little ways away, but at this point, it's getting kind of crazy, because there's like 90 some odd days left for sale next year. And I don't know what I'm going to do if I have nothing left to sell at the beginning of the year. I'm just going to have to like yell really loud to come and watch me, I guess.
Definitely. Sorry, hey, Jason. This is JD. I was wondering who's the most, I guess, well-known or most famous or just kind of the most amazing sponsor you've had so far, where basically you said, "Wow, you want me to wear your shirt? Cool, sure."
Yeah, I've had a couple. I mean, I don't want to single anybody out, but I'll let you guys choose. So I'll name off 4, and you guys can pick them. So I had Zappos.com, I had LifeLock.com, I had Gary Vaynerchuk, and Bill Cosby. So you guys pick who you want. Like
Bill Cosby or Bill Crosby?
Bill Cosby, as in like Jello pudding pops.
Oh, very nice. Very nice.
Thank you. I practiced that.
Well, that's got my vote. The other guys are all.
What's the funny? Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say everyone else that you mentioned, it's like, okay, yeah, Zappos, very social media oriented. LifeLock makes sense. Gary V, definitely social media. And Bill Cosby's got my vote. If he's got the foresight to see that him paying you to wear a shirt that promotes the Cosby Show from the 80s, then wow, amazing man, and amazing opportunity there. Did you get to meet him?
No. He's got a whole slew of people that are working for him. Basically, what Cosby's doing now is he's bringing his, he's probably one of the most famous people ever. I mean, if you really think about it, going back in time, and he's basically trying to come back around and embrace social media, and he started doing 12-second TV, video clips. He was interacting with Pete Cashmore from Mashable. He's really trying to do that to promote a hip-hop album that is good for kids. And obviously I know all this because I wore a shirt for him and learned all the information. But he's really doing great things. And the guy's like 70-some-odd years old. And he's, talking about the Twit and Tweety and, the Facebooks. And it's kind of crazy.
Very smart. But that made me think of yesterday. You were wearing a T-shirt. I think it was Clutch for the Cure, but you were wearing this boa around your neck, and you were having a clutched purse around your shoulder. Tell me if that wasn't it. What other funny things have you been paid to wear, or perhaps not to wear?
Yeah, some of my longer-time viewers will know that back in January, JoshSpear.com paid me to not wear a shirt, and it was early on. It was in January, so I was like, "Oh, what do I do? Do I just put on my own shirt? Do I, get a white shirt and write it?" And I was like, "No, screw it. I'll wear no shirt. Obviously, I'm not going to show any pictures, of my complete bare upper body because I don't want to. I hadn't done enough crunches at that point. But I went through the ChickfilA drive-through and took my camera with me, and just got some hilarious reactions. Took some fun photos. But I've worn a couple feather boas, more than I think I would like, but I don't mind it. It's fun. It's a fun kind of breakup of the daily normal T-shirts, and a couple women's tees, some really small men's tees, and some pretty great colors as far as pinks go.
So when you go out, you must get approached by people and saying, "What are you wearing?" or you get looks, or what do you say? I mean, it's probably a good icebreaker.
Yeah, it's really easy to have conversations with people. You know, I had a wedding where I wore a T-shirt underneath a sport coat, and obviously everyone was like, "Why is this guy wearing a T-shirt underneath a sport coat?" So, you know, that always comes up. But it really is one of my favorite things now when I'm with a group of people, especially if I'm at a conference or, you know, somewhere else and I'm not normally with my friends. And you go around the table and people are always playing the "What's everybody do" game, and I listen. And it's just like, you know, I'm a marketing guy, or I'm a designer, or I'm an accountant, and then it comes to me, and I just smile. I'm like, I wear T-shirts for a living, and half the time I really try not to explain it at all because I just want to see their reactions, and it's pretty funny. So I like kind of dropping that on people.
I have a question for you, if I could, and I also have a couple from the room. How much do you go out during the day? How much are you required to go out and make yourself exposed? I mean, you couldn't spend a day camping out in the wilderness by yourself and exposing yourself to no one in the civilization and still get paid for it. What is the requirements that you have to meet for, you know, in order to get paid for making your client happy? Is it different for each person?
Zero outside exposure. Absolutely zero. It does not matter if I was living in Times Square every single day and people were seeing me in my shirt. I love the change of shirts. This is fantastic. It's not about that. It's about social media following. It's all about presence on the web. So if I walk in Times Square, and I know this because I was in Times Square, 1,100 people walk through Times Square every minute of the day in Times Square. So I was there for about 10 minutes. So, you know, do the math. It's over 10,000 people saw me in a T-shirt. How many of those people do you think went to the website that was on my T-shirt? I mean,
very good. I see your point there.
Yes, I mean, there's absolutely no grab to me being out in public. It's all about the social media stuff. And the best thing about it is then you can see everybody chatting in here. You know, my friends are in here from my chat and people that know me. Everybody's so in tune. Everybody's so supportive because I've been transparent. I've been myself. You know, I am who I am. I've not tried to fake anything. I tell everybody like it is. If they want to come listen to me, if they want to come support me, that's why I think I've made it. It's because I have such awesome, you know, friends and followers.
Very nice, very nice. Have you ever thought about selling what you have going on? Just like, you know what, I could. People had to possibly offer you, hey, look, Jason, I'd like to do what you're doing. I'd like to give you X amount of dollars. Have you ever been approached for that? Has anyone ever asked you to do something like that? Made you that type of an offer? And would you consider it? I mean, I'd hope you consider it at a certain point. What would that point be? How much money would it take for you to say, oh, yeah, you know what, you can wear all the shirts, buddy?
Yeah, I very early on in the website, when it launched in January, I had already sold 5.5 months. So it was a pretty good start, and I got a bunch of emails when I hit, I think it was the New York Times, and I got probably like 3 or 4 emails from people like, hey, would you sell iwearyourshirt.com? You know, I'd be interested in buying it at the end of the year. And the price, you know, all the price points that people were throwing out there, you know, to me, I was scratching my head because I was like, number one, you know exactly what I make. So if you don't even offer me more than what I'm making from wearing shirts, that's weird. But, you know, I really want to focus on growing iwearyourshirt.com to, you know, obviously 2 people already next year, 3, 4, 5, 10 people in 2011, and then, you know, maybe 50 the next year. I want to do it incrementally, though. I want to hold on to this brand. I want to make sure that it's delivering value, because the second that it goes to 10 people and 5 of them aren't putting up a video, or, you know, I have to chase around, or if I hire a manager and they're constantly chasing people, it's failed. It's become a failure because it's not keeping up. It's not giving the same value. I work long hours every single day to try and get all this stuff done, and I just want to make sure that I control that. And then, you know, if someone offers me, you know, I don't know, $50 million in a couple of years, sure, but the site could be making that if I get the right people involved at the right price point.
Right, right. I'm not going to go in the direction of how much are you making. That's none of my business, and I'm not really interested. I'm just glad you're doing well with it. One of our users, OKSTHBURN, I believe. I'm sorry if I spelled it wrong. How do you determine pricing for the day?
Yeah, so it's pretty simple. So this year it started at $1 on January 1st, and it went up $1 every single day until the end of the year at $365. So, Scott just mentioned it in the chat. The days all added up to $66,795 just in day sales. And then I also have monthly sponsors as well. So it's a decent amount of money for wearing T-shirts, but it's also very, very inexpensive advertising for people who are getting all that content.
Let me, can I throw in a...
Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say one more quick question. Do you how far in advance are people allowed to book?
Yeah, so when I started this year, the last day of the year, December 31st, was bought in the first week. Some guy bought it and said, I just bought the most expensive day in 2009 because if this thing works, it'll obviously get the most exposure, I would hope, out of any of the days that are purchased. So you could buy any day you want. Just like next year, 2010 is open. People have been buying, throughout the year already.
Okay, so Jason, right now, iwearyourshirt.com is blowing up. Some people in here know you, some people don't, and maybe they're looking at you and being like, I could know him from somewhere. Recently, you've been on abcnews.com and MSNBC. Today, you were on Fox News. Where else are you going to be in the future besides being right here on Social Blade?
Yeah, I've got some really great press coming up. I was on, as you mentioned, I was on the ABC World News webcast with Charles Gibson. Did a live video with MSNBC the other day. Steve Hartman was at my house on Tuesday from CBS Evening News. So that'll air Monday. If you guys watch CBS Evening News with Katie Couric, I'll be on that. And then today I was on Fox News, and I might be back again on Fox News on Monday. So it's been absolutely crazy. I can't thank everybody enough for all their support and helping me get to where I am.
Who are you doing the 3-part story with?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Who are you doing the 3-part story with?
Oh, it was just the Steve Hartman CBS Evening News story was just we did a lot of filming, and then it all comes together on Monday with Katie Couric.
Okay. So, what's the plans for 2010? I know you're going to be working with Evan. Are you going to be changing I Wear Your Shirt to something else, or are you going to keep the name?
Yeah, it's staying iwearyourshirts.com. It's I bought wewearyourshirts.com and wewearyourshirt.com, but I'm not going to use it. I've built a brand in I Wear Your Shirt, and I think it's got some good sticking power. I don't think it's going to be a big deal to everyone's yelling their brains are about to explode because of Skype calls.
I know.
I think iwearyourshirts.com is great. I think it's good, and people know it, and I don't want to mess that up.
Yeah.
I was wondering if I didn't hear. I was working with the ringing. I didn't get to hear the answer to my question. I think you said, can we go like a couple of years in advance? Is there any way we can pre-order?
I couldn't hear that last question. Sorry, all I heard was choppiness.
I do apologize about that. Hold on one quick second. My question was what I was hoping for. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
What I was wanting to do is pre-order a day, like quite a bit in advance, if that's possible.
Yeah, so you can. So if you say if you wanted to buy a day in October right now, you could go right to my calendar. It automatically goes straight to August because that's the next available day on the calendar is in August, and you can toggle forward in the months and you can pick whatever day you want. So say your birthday was August 5th or October 5th. If that day was open, you could buy it right on the calendar right now.
Excellent. The day that I would love to get is December 22nd, 2012, if possible.
It may be a little bit more expensive than the next year, depending on what happens.
Well, if that day opens up, I'd like to go ahead and take it. I'm serious. I really would like to go ahead and take that day.
Aren't we all going to be dead by then anyway, though?
Well, if we are alive on that day, then your shirt will say, "Told you so." And hold on, real quick. I'm going
to. The shirt would say, "I told you so."
Hold on one second, real quick. I'm going to fix this technical difficulty that doesn't seem to be.
JD, can you just call?
Sorry about the noise.
Just call everyone back, JD.
Okay. as we get Jason Sadler back on. Hopefully, if we are here December 21st, 2012, then I'd like that shirt. I'd like to do a the Mayans got it wrong or something to that effect, and see what we can do. Let's bring him back in right now. Can you hear us, Jason?
Yeah,
There we
seems
go.
to be working
Sorry
fine.
about that, everyone.
My head already
Couldn't take the
exploded.
ring
So.
anymore.
Perfect. Jason, are you still with us, or are your ears bleeding?
I'm still here.
Excellent. I think everybody in the showroom, their ears are bleeding, and my head is melted. Yes, 2012, December
Could be your
22nd. It could be my shirt. It could be somebody's shirt. December 22nd, 2012. I'd like a tribute to the Mayans. That's the shirt that I would love to have you wear. So let me know seriously as soon as possible, and we will go from there.
Sounds good. I'll write it down. I've got a Google Doc with all my dates that need to be reserved. I'll write it down for you.
Yeah, because you only have like 90 days left. I could be wrong now because they could be gone faster than that. But like 90 days left in 2010, right?
Yeah, and I, this is basically the first place I've ever talked about it. But if 2010 sells out, I'm not going to open up 2011 for sale probably until the middle of the year, just because. Number one, that's really weird, selling like 2011 things in the beginning of 2010. I mean, most people would say, "Oh, go for it. I mean, you should sell it while you can." But I want to make sure that I find the right people, and then expose everybody to those people, and say, "All right, now we have 4 people wearing shirts in 2011. Here's the pricing model, how it changes. If it's $4 a day and then increases or whatever, we'll see."
Well, Jason, let me ask you this. What if, let's just say, Billy was marrying his high school sweetheart, and he had a large chunk of change, had a really nice job, and he offered you X amount of dollars more than what you normally got for 2011 to come in and wear a shirt proposing to his girlfriend. Would you be willing to do that? Look, it's our 3-year anniversary. I want you to come in with a shirt saying that. Would you do that type of thing?
Yeah, I've had a couple people that have no wedding proposals via my shirt, but I've had some people that have said, hey, this day is really, really important to me. Is there any way that I can, buy it off the person? And usually what I'll do is just email them and say, hey, I have somebody who's really interested in your day. If it doesn't mean anything to you, can I give you another day? I'll eat the cost of the difference, or they'll pay the difference, and try and switch it around. And it's only happened a couple times, but I try to be as flexible for people, and especially for really important events like that, I try and help out where I can.
Well, that's cool. That's very nice of you.
That's great, Jason. We really appreciate you coming on the show.
Well, thank you very much for having me. I appreciate being here. You've got a great little audience here that's very in tune. It's awesome.
Sorry about your
I really
ears.
appreciate the concept, man. Like, I think it's pretty ingenious. It's really a unique way to use social media, I feel. The whole, sponsor my shirt for a day. And it seems like it's working out pretty well. So, congrats on successfully implementing that idea.
Well, thank you very much for having me.
We definitely need more unique contributors to social media like you.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Catch Jason 3 p.m. Eastern every day on Ustream. He is a fellow Ustreamer with I Wear Your Shirt, as well as on Twitter at I Wear Your Shirt. And we wish you much luck in the future. And happy Thanksgiving, Jason.
Thank you. Happy Turkey Day to you guys as well. Double salute, single salute, and I'll robot myself out.
Thank you so much. And this is coming from the Canadian. She doesn't celebrate Thanksgiving. At least not our
Bit the
Thanksgiving.
bullet on that one.
Thanks a lot, Jason. I'd also like to...
Thank you.
Thank you, Jason.
Definitely thank you. And sorry about the eardrums. Turns out that it was actually my fault, not anyone else's. We do have a Twitter page. For those who don't know, it's twitter.com/socialblade. We have a Facebook fan page. Aaron, tell us all about it.
Facebook fan page. You can check that out every day with social media news, updates every day. I take care of that. And so you don't have to go looking all over the place for the top social media news. You can check it out at facebook.com/socialblade. Become our friend, and we will friend you back.
Definitely. And we also have a brand spanking new, as previously mentioned, YouTube channel, which we are working on uploading. The plan is to upload at least 10 to 20 videos per day. Is that not correct, Urgo?
I don't think 10 to 20 a day, but definitely a couple per week.
Damn K. Lopez of YouTube.
JD, I don't know. Do you have that much time in a day to make videos? I know I don't.
I don't have that much time in a year to make videos. Guests, thank you for coming. The guest. Thank the guest. That's my note. Thank our guest. Thank you, guest. Jason, thank you so much for coming. Jason Sadler from iwearyourshirt.com. Thank you, audience. That's what it is. I get guests and audience. I love you all, so I get everybody confused sometimes. Thank you, audience, for listening to us, putting up with my madness, and putting up with everybody else's intelligence and intellectual conversation, and then also us and me. Thanks again to our sponsor, hothardware.com. That is hothardware.com. Next week is Thanksgiving. We will not be on the air, unfortunately. We are going to be eating turkey, except for Erin. She will be hunting polar bears. And that's how she celebrates every Thanksgiving. She just doesn't know what day it is because she's in Canada, which that is a real country in real life. I'm serious. If you don't believe me, check a map. It's really there. And we do have
Canada. In Canada, they call it the fourth Thursday of the month.
Yes. And they don't know what we.
Some tribal stuff.
I still understand. I mean, to me, Thanksgiving is football day. And well, we'll get into that in the after show. As part of our special Thanksgiving treat, we had our Canadian female co-host put together a wonderful video, and we're going to show it here right now. See y'all later.
I've been waiting to see this.
Yes, I haven't seen it yet either. I've actually had the file for a while, so you guys are in for a special treat. Don't forget, Thursdays, 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern, and 11:30 in Newfoundland, Canada. And I don't know what time it is. I don't know what time it is in Malaysia, but we'll find out for sure. Remember, we are Social Blade.
Oh, Thanksgiving Day is drawing near. Since Plymouth Rock, us turkeys live in fear. You're giving thanks for what you've got. Family, friends, and food and fun. But man, this oven's hot. You fill your plates up to the sky with cranberry, cornbread, stuffing, wings, and legs and thighs. That's what they ate way back then when the pilgrims said to Squanto, let's all be friends. So be thankful for this dinner, that your life's so freaking sweet. Be thankful that you're not a walking feathered slab of meat. Be thankful when you're happy, and thankful when you're free. But most of all, be thankful. Be thankful that you're not. Ooh. Me.